games ISO ball, and I think they can still make a series out of this. I mean, the pendulum swings in the analysis of these series so dizzyingly. It's like when the Warriors win, they're never going to lose another game. When Houston wins, it's what's wrong with the Warriors, So I would say that ISO ball can work, but you have to have incredibly talented players to do it. And so, yeah, I think that ball movement has to be more of a priority going forward for the Wolves. But I also think that you look at what they have, and I mean, Carl is 22, Andrew is 23, and I know people don't want to hear about it, but because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are doing great things for Boston, but that's the exception. That's not the rule. Like, young players sometimes do take time to kind of figure things out, and so Brad Stevens has done a phenomenal job in Boston. But I still think you can have success other ways. You can have success with this group. It just might take a little bit more time, but there's no question that adjustments and changes do have to be made to maximize that.
They need 3-point shooting. They need a bench that Tibbs will trust enough to play. They need better defense, both better defense played by the current starters and by anybody they bring in. They could use another true defensive player. It is fascinating, though. I spent a lot of time this year saying, hey, okay, I know there are problems, but they're still a good team, and they're winning without Butler. I kept on finding myself almost forced to defend this team because they were winning more games than they've won in a long time, and the black and white results were not bad. But it does feel like that the problems, the dissent has reached some kind of critical mass where things are going to have to be dealt with, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I think dealt with is the right way, because here's the silver lining in all this to everyone who wants to jump off of a 30th story window right now is that the Wolves have real talent on their team. And that's the hardest thing to procure.
That's the first step.
Like, you have to, you have to have really talented guys. I know everyone is like saying that Brad Stevens is this wizard, and he's great. There's no question.
Celtics do have good players.
They're good.
They're good
Al
players.
Horford, Jaylen Brown, Rozier, Tatum, all these guys are really, really good players. And Danny Ainge has done a great job of bringing in talent there. Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins to an extent, but Teague and Gibson and I think even Bielitsa and Tyus Jones, like, there's talent here. And so that's where you start. And so they have that. And now it's figuring out how to make this talent play as well as it can together and what works and what doesn't. And it's not always happening right away. It sometimes does take time. And so, the hyperventilators do need to kind of take a little bit of a deep breath while also acknowledging that there are changes and there are adjustments that need to be made. And if Tom Thibodeau and Scott Layden don't make those adjustments, someone else will be brought in to make them. So, they've been here 2 years. They had a huge change from year 1 to year 2. There will be changes going into year 3. And so that's what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen in year 3, then there's probably going to be some major changes made, but we'll have to see how that works. And there were big improvements from year 1 to year 2. There have to be big improvements from year 2 to year 3, or else the chances of both of them being here are probably pretty slim.
Thanks to TSR Injury Law, 612-TSR-TIME. Thanks to SodaStick, sodastick.com, and Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin. Again, you can subscribe to this show individually at iTunes or your favorite podcast app. You can subscribe to the network as a whole. We got about 10 shows going now, including our new business show and the Cheryl Reeve Show, which is fantastic, if I do say so myself. I'm just glad nobody reports on it when I throw my computer at you.
Well, the sources are there's fewer leaks in our organization.
That's true. We run a tight ship.